for the Susan Taylor Podcast, where we discuss the yoga of mind, medicine, and healing. Author of Feeling Good Matters, Sexual Radiance, and the Vital Energy Program, Dr. Taylor imparts authentic knowledge and practical tools that inspire, educate, and empower us to be a healing force for positive change. So join us and take your life and our planet to the next level.
Hello and welcome to episode 28. Do you have trouble sleeping? 6 steps to better sleep. I'd like to thank the audience for suggesting this topic. I'm very grateful when you write in and say that you'd like to hear something because it's fun for me to actually put something together for a podcast. Let's talk about sleep. Sleep gives us substantial cognitive boosts. As we know, it really helps our brain. It helps the cells repair or regenerate themselves. And it has many physiological benefits, such as releasing growth hormone and other hormones. In fact, hormones that regulate appetite and satiety. So our sleep time is very, very important. But keep in mind that not everyone has restful sleep. In fact, each night, millions of people in the U.S. struggle to fall asleep and even stay asleep. I did some statistic checking, and I found that 30 to 35% have experienced sleep problems as a brief problem, but 10% really suffer from insomnia that can be so severe that it's an ongoing struggle. Today, I'd like to discuss some of the steps that I've used with clients in the past and students that really help them fall asleep and stay asleep, and maybe give you out there in the audience better quality of sleep. Insomnia can have a negative impact on your day-to-day operations, as you know. When it becomes long-term, it actually increases your risk of depression, weight gain, and even getting a condition called high blood pressure. And it lowers your quality of life. Many of the common symptoms of insomnia include fatigue, inability to focus or concentrate, poor memory, mood disturbances, daytime sleepiness, even low motivation or energy. And when I've worked with healthcare practitioners, which is very, very important, they have more increased errors or accidents. When people have to stay working night shifts, for example, and they don't have enough rest, they have increased errors or accidents. So having enough sleep or proper rest within that sleep cycle is very, very important. And then I gave it some thought, what causes insomnia? And most agree that stress is the underlying cause of most sleep issues. Stress we'll define it as the inability to relax or let go of tension in our body, mind, and even soul. Not knowing our purpose in life is in of itself a stressful situation that doesn't allow us to relax. And this is a very broad topic, the topic of relaxation as well as insomnia, etc., sleep changes. But we're talking about insomnia in general. Hormonal changes can also be the cause of insomnia or medical conditions. And that's not something that I'm really going to be dealing with in this podcast because it is a very broad topic also. There's always an underlying cause, but I'm going to be talking about the underlying cause being stress or inability to relax into your own being. And again, I'll talk about relaxation in another podcast probably next week. Let's talk about the 6 steps to better sleep. As I said, when I work with clients or students, I found that these 6 steps are very, very useful in helping someone navigate a restful sleep. The first one I always recommend is take a warm shower before going to bed. When we warm up the body with a hot shower or even a bath an hour or less before bedtime, it seems to benefit sleep. We can shower away our day's issues. You can even go under the water and just imagine I'm cleansing and letting it go down the drain of any of the worries, any of the concerns. I'm washing off my day. And this can be very relaxing, and it helps, of course, rid the body of excess tension and the mind, because the mind and body are one, remember. When we create a nighttime routine around the same time, you'll get the best value. Like I tell people with meditation, if you do it around the same time, you're going to get the best value because you prepare the mind, and remember, the mind and body are one, with routine, and things just start to fall into place. So the first step, take a warm shower or a bath before going to bed. The second step is to practice relaxation. And it's recommended by the National Sleep Foundation as a way to fall asleep very fast. And they suggest progressive muscle relaxation. I've used, as a yoga teacher in the past, I've used a practice that I've learned from yoga teachers and yoga masters, what's called a tension release practice. And that's where you relax each muscle in your body as you move down from your head, meaning, and even your face, down to your toes. And it's where you squeeze for a moment, just a certain muscle group, and then you hold it for a couple of seconds, and then you release it. And we've used this practice in our meditation live trainings where we've helped people get into a more relaxed state, so meditation is more beneficial. The benefits are really tremendous. The third step is to eat dinner 3 hours prior, or even more if you can, because you can't go to bed and with a full stomach and expect to have a restful sleep, because your body is actually tending to the digestive process. Therefore, your mind is going to be affected. And as I said in the previous podcast or blog even, and even in my book, Feeling Good Matters, practice the overnight fast. I can't stress that enough, that will help you not only with sleep, but it also helps you with optimal health. You're helping your body rid itself of toxins, and you're allowing the body and mind to engage in restful sleep. Step 4, turn off blue light. When it comes to sleep, the less blue light you expose yourself to the hours before bedtime, the better. Light of any kind can suppress the body's production of melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone, and I'll talk about it in a minute, that is from the pineal gland. It's secreted by the pineal gland, and it responds to the light cycles, the light and our sleep cycles. It does other things, but we're not going to be talking about that today. It's very powerful, and it can actually shift us into a sleep-friendly circadian rhythm. Besides electronic devices like tablets and smartphones, the biggest blue light offenders in our homes are the fluorescent light bulbs or LED lights, and many of us use them because they're energy efficient. So just keep that in mind to turn off the blue light. The fifth step is to wash your feet with warm water before going to bed. I've observed this with myself, that washing my feet with warm water relaxes my mind and improves my sleep onset. I suggest that to parents who have children who are very hyper before and they just can't get to sleep. Take your child and just have them put their feet in a nice little warm tub of water or even the sink, and massage their feet. And you could even put a little bit of some soothing oil, and that's something that you might want to think about. And what that does is it gives you more restful sleep, from an Ayurvedic perspective especially. If we look at it from a scientific point of view, I suppose that when we shift the blood flow from our core essence of our abdominal area, let's say that is our core, to our extremities, the body does cool down, and that works in concert with the melatonin cycle. Melatonin is a hormone, as I said, secreted by the pineal gland, and it also serves as a messenger to announce bedtime to our brains. And darkness stimulates its release into the bloodstream. Light actually inhibits it. And the sixth step is to use the sleep practice, the breathing practice of 8-16-32, and I'll tell you what that is. It's a technique that helps you fall asleep, perhaps even before finishing the exercise. And it's said to relax you by increasing, from a science perspective, you're increasing the amount of oxygen in your bloodstream, you're slowing your heart rate down, especially if you're using the diaphragm to do your breathing. And you're also releasing more carbon dioxide from the lungs. And according to yoga therapists, here's how you do it. You start by laying on your right side for 8 breaths. So you're lying down with your pillow supporting you in your bed. Lie on your right side for 8 breaths. After 8 breaths, not fast, very slow at your pace, roll onto your back for 16 breaths. And then by that time, you might be really sleepy, and turn onto your left side for 32 breaths. And by then you should fall asleep. Now, for those that have anxiety, that might give you anxiety by saying, oh no, I didn't fall asleep. Start it over again. Go to 8-16-32, and don't have any expectations, and just see what happens. If you incorporate any of these 6, and I'll repeat them again, take a warm shower before bed, practice relaxation, Eat dinner 3 hours prior or more. Turn off the blue light. Wash your feet with warm water before going to bed, and use the 8-16-32 sleep practice. A combination of any of these will really help you. If you want to just do one, choose one that you might want to try. And if you've already done the shower, you might not want to wash your feet with warm water. That's usually one or the other. And remember, I did mention turning off the blue light. That doesn't mean 5 minutes before. Give yourself several hours. So in other words, don't go right from your computer to bed. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. Again, I want to thank you for that suggestion from the community member to do something like this. I'm always delighted to meet any questions or comments or even some topics that you might want me to consider. And keep in mind, you'll be notified weekly for new podcasts if you subscribe to the podcast on susantaylor.org. Many of you have asked me how to give back feedback on the podcast. You have to tune into either go into iTunes or Stitcher. You can actually go in there, go into your account, and give us 5 stars if you like it. If you don't like it, don't bother, but if you like it, please give us 5 stars to tell us that we're doing okay and that you're enjoying it. Contact us at susantaylor.org if you have any questions, comments, or feedback. And again, thanks so much for listening. The Susan Taylor podcast does come out every week, and any questions, comments, I will personally answer for you, or we'll make a podcast out of it. So until next time, remain calm, consciously aware, living in the moment. See you next week.